Our first award is our Patient Advocacy Award. And getting that award is Dr. Lindsay Weitzel. Did I say that right? Where are you, Lindsay?
Yeah.
So far, so good. The AMD Patient Advocacy Award is intended to recognize an individual who has stepped forward to take on his or her own form of advocacy to advance the cause of migraine. Lindsay suffered from chronic daily migraines from the age of 4, can you imagine? Until the age of 30, and knows all too well how hopeless, helpless, defeated, and misunderstood individuals with migraine can feel. You can't see them, you feel them. Although current medicine wasn't able to help her, Lindsay persevered to earn a PhD in analytic health sciences. That's out of my pay grade already. While migraines are still a challenge, she is feeling better. Lindsay developed skills to get through every phase of life, from preschool to pregnancy and parenting. How's that going? The parenting thing. Whew, I tell you, that's a full-time job. She now shares those skills as a migraine life coach. I love that. We honor her tonight for the creation and publication of her unique cartoon book. Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Weitzel. This is my website, www.lindsayweitzel.com. I'm going to talk really fast. I missed the flight to get here. Actually, it was canceled and I drove 12 hours, so I did not get to look at my slides, so we're going to talk so fast to make sure I get everything in. How do I advance?
Let me know when to.
Okay, go ahead, advance. Really quickly, I want to tell you why I do what I do. That's me when I was 4. That's when my migraine started. I don't have much memory of a day without a migraine since the age of me in that pink bathing suit. The next picture is me when I was 12. That's the age when I developed complex regional pain syndrome due to my migraines all over the right side of my face, neck, shoulder, and it went down my right arm into my hand. For those of you that don't know, that is a extreme burning pain like you're on fire that never goes away from the time you wake up till you go to sleep. Makes you want to stop, drop, and roll. I had that in addition to the migraines every day, and it's because of the migraines. The migraines were there first. So I cannot really remember many days without extreme pain in my whole life. Next slide, please. Next.
I heard you.
You heard me. Those are my babies. They are adorable, they are hilarious, they are so much fun. On the left is Colton, on the right is Skylar. Next slide. Did I get too close? And those are them on their migraine days. So I try not to cry. Their migraines aren't as bad as mine, or as frequent as mine were at their age, but our house is definitely not migraine free. Next slide. So that's why I do what I do. I'm a migraine coach. I meet with people. I used to be a scientist. I was a clinical scientist. I started in breast cancer. I have a PhD in analytical health sciences. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in nutrition. I am a certified yoga teacher. I also have a background that's a long story, but I did a lot of work in the OR where I worked in pharmacology and in delivery of IV medication. I work with people who are extremely debilitated, who some of them haven't left their house in 4 years due to the pain and due to the anxiety and the agoraphobia from their migraines. I also work with people who aren't as sick. Some of them just need a plan so that they can fly to Europe with their family because their family judges them so bad and they want to feel well enough to have fun. Some of them just hire me for that 1 hour to be like, hey, what can I do so that I can have fun on this trip? But literally some of them, I walk them to the mall. I walk on the treadmill next to them so they can exercise. I walk in the pool next to them. We do cognitive behavioral therapy. It would take me all day to tell you what I do, but the biggest thing I do, because I know there's physicians in the audience and I'm hoping that I can work with you and get your business cards because I need good physicians to send these people to because they don't go anymore. They are afraid of physicians and they don't go. I give them a plan to walk into their physician because they're too scared to go. And it says what they've tried and what they haven't tried. And it says a lot of things that will help you and help them just get through the door. So I also have a blog, by the way, that is medical and that brings PubMed articles to a level where an average person would actually want to read them. So if you ever want to send your patients there, you can. So next slide. So I noticed that I have a ton of success with adults. I bring their pain levels down, less migraines, they're able to go back to work, they're able to go to places with their family, their functional activities better, their quality of life is excessively better. I see children. I do have some success with children, but it is not the same success. And it was really, really bothering me a lot. They'll get happy and then their next migraine comes and they're just back to where they were. It was really bothering me. People were like, Lindsay, how did you survive when you were a kid? And I was like, I can't put it into words and I can't communicate it to them. So I wrote a book and it just came out. It is on Amazon. And assuming that I'm able to cover the cost of writing this book, the proceeds, a portion of the proceeds are going to go to the Migraine Research Foundation. So please look this up, and any physicians in the audience, I'm going to have this book in the back. Take one. It's free to you if you will display it in your clinic. So I brought 50 of them. There's more in my car. So let me know. Give me your business card. I will send you one. It's called Super Zoe, the Migraine Hero. Next slide. So I only was able to put up a few images because they're really big. But I purposely, there's no white space in this novel so that it's not staring back at kids' eyes. I don't want it to hurt their eyes when they have a migraine. There's also very few words. I don't want them to feel like they have to read. But Zoe starts out as a normal kid. She has friends. She plays sports. And then eventually after a while when she's at school and she's supposed to be giving a talk, the inflammovillains, they invade her brain. And there's a small medical paragraph that explains who the inflammovillains are and what we think causes a migraine. Next slide. Then the inflammovillains make her tummy sick. There's a bunch of slides on how her eyes hurt from the light and the fluorescent lights in the school, on and on. She needs to wear sunglasses. Everyone knows what the inflammovillains do. And she has to give her talk, so she has to decide if she wants to transform into Super Zoe, and eventually she does. Now, Super Zoe, then, there's a lot of things that people who don't understand migraines think this is really simple, but it's a message, there's a ton of messages we need to get across to these kids. Super Zoe decides whether she's having a so-so migraine or she's having a bummer migraine. So-so migraine means she stays at school and she pushes and she tries hard and she is as nice as she can and as normal as she can be. But eventually that migraine turns into a bummer migraine where she has to go home, she stays in bed, and that's okay. And she doesn't judge herself, and she talks to her dog, and she communicates to him, and he's kind of funny, and things like that. And then it goes into what she does to come out of that migraine. And she eventually does a little bit of homework, and she goes for a walk, and she gets some fresh air. Things like that. It gives the kids skills, and it tells them they're not alone, and what they're feeling is okay. And she eventually defeats the inflammovillains. Next slide. So kids' thoughts on Zoe. I did give this book to some kids before I published it, and these are some of the things she said. Amelia, age 9, said, Zoe teaches you that you can feel sick but feel tough and powerful at the same time. I love the book. I especially like the inflammovillains. Caroline, age 7 or age 11. I have migraines sometimes. Zoe made me feel like a superhero. Jake, age 8. And I forgot to say that this book was published because of some money that was given by this foundation, and I'm so grateful for that. So it's just important that we give money everywhere. Give money from the book, give money for the book. It's just awesome what everyone's doing. So I just want to point out, this is my daughter. So you saw what she was doing before. She was just sitting there for hours like this. What good does this do anyone to sit there for hours like this? This is what kids do. They cry, mommy, mommy. This is her bummer face. She's on the couch and she's looking at the book. She's looking at what Zoe does. It's positive imagery. She knows where she is and where Zoe is. Then she tells me that she's ready to come with me on an errand, and she puts her sunglasses on like Zoe does. And she still takes the book with her wherever we go. So this is my demonstration that I think that maybe people that don't have migraines might not get it, but she got it the first day I handed it to her. Next slide. So I just wanted to really quick tell you some of the things I'm doing in the next year. This is brand new, so if you go in there and there's not many people in there, don't judge me. This is when I was really sick, we didn't have these awesome groups on Facebook at all. The first friend I ever met that was sick like me, I was 27 years old, and I thought she was the most beautiful, amazing thing on earth. And I was so grateful to have her in the world, and 2 years later, she took her own life. So, and it was because of the migraines. So I told you I was gonna cry at least twice. I started my own Facebook page called Migraine Nation, and there's tons of awesome Facebook pages out there, and I think everyone should be on all of them. What might be more special about mine, if you like it, not more special, but different, excuse me, I do infuse a lot of medical information. I want people to talk about anything and everything. No one is judged for any medication that they're using or anything. I stop any post where there's any judgment. It drives me crazy. The only thing I would ever stop is I don't like the posts where they say what's the maximum amount of this medication I can take right now. Those bother me a little bit. And also we have the suicide hotline on there everywhere. Oh, and I have on there a video blog for people that are stuck in bed. I do go places and put a video blog and give them positive imagery of places and stuff like that. It's called From Behind Sunglasses. Next. Really quickly, let's see if I can say this fast because I do want information from physicians. Like I said, I want your business cards, if you could bring them to me so that I have people, I meet with people not just in Denver, that's where I'm from, but I meet with people online, and I want really good physicians to send them to. So, but I also would love information from you. I was asked to do an analysis for the National Headache Foundation on what was trending online so that I could write for them things that were interesting to migraine patients. And the second thing that was most interesting that was online, they were very upset about their intractable migraine when they were forced to go to the ER, and they did not want to go to the ER. And they were treated like drug seekers. They were triaged to the bottom of the list. They waited 4 hours. They did not get what they needed, and they left feeling worse than when they came. This was a huge problem for them. I randomly, about 2 weeks after I turned in that analysis, happened to see an ad by a friend of mine who I knew when she was a medicine resident. She owns medical spas now, and she was doing infusions for, I live in Denver, so it's a high altitude, people with altitude sickness and hangovers that were for pain and for nausea. And I was blown away by what these people were getting, like what you could have access to because you went to a frat party, but not, and without judgment, but not because you had a migraine. I did not make an appointment. I walked straight into her office. I said, "Do you know what I do now?" And she said, "I know you do something with migraines now." I said, "Yes." I said, "What dose of yada yada are you giving?" And she told me. I said, "If you increase that to this, if you add this, we don't need that, if you do this and that," I said, "you might be able to break an intractable migraine in an environment that these people will go to after 24 or 36 hours instead of 5 days, and it might be okay. Would you be willing to work with me?" And she said yes, and we have made a protocol for migraine. She has a clinic in Chicago and 2 in Denver. Any physicians who want to come talk to me about what they also think should be in that protocol, I would love to hear it. It's not out yet. It will be very soon. For example, I love to hear about Decadron because no patient seems very interested in it, but I think that maybe it should be in there. Some patients think yes or excuse me, some doctors think yes or no. So I love input on this. But we are going to have this up and running very soon. And it's just for emergencies. So that's it. Next slide. I think I might have one more. That's my webpage. My email's on there if you ever want to contact me. I have business cards, and I'll have books in the back. Thank you so much.
Lindsay.
You get something for that.
Hold on, here we go.